Hello there and welcome. My name is Jimmy Wikman, and in this video we're going to talk about performance, and we're going to talk about the new limit for Jira software in cloud, and where Atlassian have now announced a staggering number of 50,000 users. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that actually means and take a look at these new features that they are implementing now for performance when you have an instance, or rather a site of that size. So let's jump into the article and take a look at what they have to say about it. So here we are now in the article that is written by Dimitri, and the first thing that we're going to see here then is that they are now supporting 50,000 users for Jira Software Cloud. And I'm still not sure why the number of users matter. It should be more of concurrent user that is using the resources. So 50,000 users, only 3 concurrent users doesn't mean anything. If you have 10,000 limit and all 10,000 of those are concurrent users, that is a lot different. 50,000, is it a good limit? I don't know. I don't know why there's a limit at all for the number of users that you can have. And scalability is still an issue, I feel, when it comes to communication from the Atlassian team. So it is good that we have more users that we can have. I don't know anyone that have an instance, or rather a site, where you have 50,000 users. But if someone was suffering before, then it's a good thing that you can now have more. But this announcement of 50,000 users is actually kind of, it's nice, but that's not why I wanted to make this video. So the reason I want to make this video is because they are now entering something that is called Site Optimizer, and that one is a lot more interesting. So let's first get over this one. Beginning on March 29th, which was a couple of days ago, you can now have 50,000 users in one single instance of your software. And they are increasing this one. And they are also explaining here a little bit, we're not just hitting numbers, we need to think about components. And like I said, the number of users, the only thing that actually is affected for that one is basically the database volume that you have connected to one user account. That one tend to have very little impact in general when it comes to architecture. It is more the concurrent users that will either lock up the database that you need to scale, or that will take up resources. So if you have 5,000 users that are making a search, so you're querying the database against the index, that's going to have quite an impact on the architecture itself. But the number of users itself doesn't really mean anything. Or it means something, but it usually have very little impact if you have 10,000 or 50,000 users. The number of data that each customer actually consumes in your database is negligent, especially if you're on a scalable cloud setup. But it is probably because they know that the most users are not familiar with the term of concurrent users, and it's also very difficult to measure how many concurrent users you actually have. So they are instead saying how many customers, or rather how many users can you have on your instance. So it's interesting, and I understand this one. This one is important. So when you're scaling and you have concurrent users and that are eating up your CPU, your RAM, eating up your database threads and all of that, that is something that you need to take under consideration. But considering that we have multiple companies that are handling millions of users every day, and you have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of concurrent users for social media, for example, this should not really be an issue. It's just a matter of architecture, making sure that you build it correctly for scale. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic, and that one is, because every organization is unique, every time you hit 5,000 users, they will now undergo scale assessment. which is interesting because this is 10% of the maximum, and you are already needing to do some scale assessment. And that is also for me a little bit of a red flag, or at least a yellow one, and it says that why do I need to do a scale assessment when I'm at 10% of the cap of the users that I can have. But anyway, what they have then is to say that through the migration tool, either for Jira or for Confluence, you can automatically collect your data and share it with Atlassian. So what they are adding now is a new dashboard, a new optimizing performance on cloud, and this one is just rolling out. So if you are familiar with data center where we have things like Power Admin and stuff like that, that will show you similar things and also allow you to do a lot of things. And then this one is going to feel a little bit lackluster. But what they are doing then is that it will load some of your data and will give you some recommendations and some actions that you can do. So for example, this one is now in the site optimizer, and it will now go into custom fields. So you see we have custom fields, issues, and project role permissions that they will look like or look at to see how your performance is doing. So when you do it for custom fields, you can see that we have, in this case, we have 550 custom fields, and the recommend maximum is 800, and 800 is fairly low. I have worked with instances with several thousand custom fields, and they are suffering horribly from it. But this is good. This is the recommendation, not a hard limit, fortunately. So then we can also see over time then, when have we created different custom fields. So this one will give you a good overview, and this one is a good visual also that we can show users, which is good, because most users don't take us at our word that there's problems happening when you have custom fields, when you have too many. So this one can be very good to visualize that. But the important part is down here. Clean up custom fields. And this one, what they have done here is that they have started to create some functionalities. So we already have some of these functionality in other tools. So for example, in Script Runner, you have different things that you can do for guardrails, for example, where you can take actions and you can close down projects that haven't been used in a while, and you can also check for a number of comments and stuff like that. So this one could be a good complement for that one. And you will see that there are some actions here, so we can trash things that are not being used, for example, or that have very little use seen. And in this one, in this video here, I'm not going to show this one, but they are going through then how this one will work. And you can see that these are the three that they are currently having. This is a beta feature. And everyone that have Enterprise will have this by April 15th. So I don't have it yet, but it should roll out soon, I hope. And this one is just the beginning then. So they will have more attributes available in Site Optimizer. So things that we probably want to have that we know are a little bit problematic, or we have issues and projects, of course. So these ones are very good that we can archive them. And in this video, they actually show very simple that you can filter out different criteria. And so, for example, all issues that haven't been updated in 2 years, for example, which is a common thing to have for data retention. So you archive everything that is older than 2 years. So now, what I hope will actually happen here is that we can automate that even. But for now, you can manually do it whenever you want to, so you can archive, and you can then select also which projects do you want to archive it for. So that is also very good, because you could have certain projects, for example, that are longer than 2 years. And in that case, you don't want to archive anything until the project has been completed. And let's see, is there anything else I need to have here? So, for example, Mirek here, very good questions from Mirek here. He's wondering what the custom field optimizer are doing to actually identify which custom fields are unused. Because, like he says here, just because we don't have any value or any context in it, they can be used in other ways, like in workflows, for example. So this is a good question, and Dimitri is responding there that they will have some more features for this one. And one thing I actually like a lot is this one here. So they are kind of putting this one like an archive for 60 days. So if you delete a custom field, you can restore it with the data the way it looks like. And that one is excellent because this way we can actually clean things out without being afraid that we will completely destroy a project's data. So I really, really like that one. But overall, two very good things. 50,000 users for Jira software on the cloud. And also this new feature that is only available for enterprise, it seems. I hope they will actually make it available for premium and standard as well. Because this can help people actually optimize their sites a lot more. And I think these values here are, or these functionality that I have here is a very good start. And I look forward to seeing this one expand even further so we can work optimizing our cloud instances also a lot more. So overall, these are all good things in my book. And that was all I had on this topic. So I think the only thing that remains for me to say now is that I hope that you will have an awesome day and a great week.